Hello and welcome again. You may or may not be aware that yesterday was World Recovery Day. And I don't know how you spend it, but here in Calgary we spend it down at Olympic Plaza connecting and connecting and connecting to others in the field of addiction recovery and those who, like us, are recovering addicts. That feeling of belonging was intensified yesterday to no limit. We are no longer alone. We choose not to be. If you've been here before, I again want to ask you to please take the time to go to the blog and share some of your experience or ask a question. If you're new, the same applies. Please. We're here to make a connection. I know it's hard to do over the internet and sitting in front of a camera, but it's all we have right at the moment. We're reaching out, holding out a hand and the knowledge that we have in the hope that it will help someone somewhere. So today's installment is on step 9. Make direct amends wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. This is where we really start to change our lives. In steps 4 and 5, we cleaned away the wreckage of the past. In 6 and 7, we asked for forgiveness and made a commitment to change our ways. In 8, we listed those that we know that we have to make repairs to, or that our actions have harmed. And in 9, we begin the job. If you're like me, in our drinking and using careers, I used the phrase, "I'm sorry," so many times that the people I used it to knew how empty the words were. I'm sorry I got caught. I'm sorry that you will not no longer enable me. It was all in focus. So with the help of my first sponsor, Dougie, who presented me a formula that has worked well for me over the years when I've had to make amends. And what that formula consists of is going to the person you have harmed and explaining the behavior that caused the harm. For example, going to somebody you stole from and say, you know, I've got to come clean. I stole from you. That behavior was wrong, and I regret doing it. And go armed with either full restitution or a little bit of cash. Give it to the person and say, either, you know, is that everything? Or make the commitment to make payments until the amount is repaid. Once you've done that, take the time to ask, is there anything else that I need to do in order to complete my amends with you? And be prepared. I've had one reaction where the guy said, Bill, the only thing you can do for me is to F off and never let me see you again. And I complied. It's not about me in the sense that I am there to make the amends, to repair the damage that I've done. I am not there to make the amends so that I can shirk the responsibility for doing what I've done. Their reaction or their response is out of my control and of no concern to me. What is of concern to me is my motivation for doing what I'm doing. Do I truly admit that I've done harm and want to make the repair? Or am I going there trying to clear my conscience? It's a tricky thing. You really need to be focused on what you're doing, why you're doing it. And that's why you should have a sponsor when you're doing this step and check with them before you make an attempt to make an amends. When Dougie first told me about the amends process, I thought I'd have to run all over Canada trying to search up the people that I'd done harm to. That is not the case. The essence of step 9 is to make the amends to those closest to you as soon as possible, and then to remain willing to make the amends to those that aren't in your presence. Because God will put those that He intends you to make the amends to right in front of you. I guarantee it. It's happened to me. People that I have not seen for years and have owed an amends to have appeared in front of me. Fortunately, I was willing to make those amends and have made them. Make your list. Start making the amends closest to you and remain willing to make the amends you need to make given the opportunity. This step is where you start to rebuild your life, regain respect, walk with your head up with dignity. Now, some amends cannot be made. I cannot make my amends at the expense of another. I can't go to somebody who I betrayed by sleeping with their partner and say, hey, I owe you an amends, I slept with your partner, if they are not already aware that I've done it. In that case, it's mine to carry. Dougie did give me, however, a good alternative to dealing with that, and that is write your amends out on a piece of paper, describing your behavior and what you've done. Ask for forgiveness. Take the paper to some place where you feel comfortable and close to your higher power and burn it. Offer it to them. And ask for the forgiveness. And then promptly forgive yourself. The power to forgive is the most powerful force in the universe. It frees us from the prisons of our own making. And if God forgives you, who the hell are you not to forgive yourself? I really urge you to do this step to the best of your ability. The difference it will make in your life will be amazing. And it speaks to it in the promises. We will no longer regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. But we will realize that no matter how far down the scale we have gone, our experience will benefit others. Another part of the promises, it says we will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows, the interest to make our amends. Fear of people will disappear. You won't be afraid to face these people anymore. When I was drinking and using, I would walk 3 blocks out of the way just so I didn't by chance bump into somebody I knew I'd screwed over. Do this to the best of your ability. Have a sponsor by your side when you're doing it. And we will see you when we have our next installment. Again, please take the time to leave a comment on our blog or our Facebook page. Help us to connect to you. So until we see you again, I wish for you to walk hand in hand with fellow addicts, alcoholics, and your higher power. God bless.